We've gathered a team of Australia's design industry leaders at M&C Saatchi in Sydney in the Tricky Jigsaw Labs to judge the top design innovations in Australia for the year. We're a funny bunch, humans. Sometimes we're rational and sometimes we're not. Design picks up on those little trigger points that we have as humans. And that's where design and innovation come together. Ben Cooper of Tricky Jigsaw loved the inspiration behind our first innovation.
It's a beautiful story that lives behind this innovation, and simply a father playing chess with his daughter. She put two pieces together and gave them really a superpower. It's about what happens when you give kids room to actually see things in a different way.
You know how Test cricket can sometimes feel like it goes forever, with not much action in between. Along comes one day and 2020 and makes the game much more interesting and exciting. Our next innovation is the 2020 for the game of chess. So, Christian, this is it. This is Chess Plus.
Absolutely, Brandon. We've basically reinvented chess to make it faster and more exciting for people to play.
But it looks like a normal chess set, so what's different?
Chess Plus enables you to take your bishop and you can actually merge it onto a pawn, just like that. Now, that piece can either play as a pawn or as a bishop. So, for example, it can move out like a pawn, or you can move it like a bishop.
That is so cool. I have to ask, how did you come up with this idea?
My daughter, who was 10 at the time, she moved her castle onto her pawn square. Now that I've got a castle with a pawn, I can take my two pieces to the other end of the board and I'm going to get a queen, and then I'm going to beat my dad. And suddenly it went from, oh yeah, that's interesting, to, oh my God, that's a really good idea. Would you like to have a game?
I'd love to, but I'm not that good at chess. I've organised somebody else to come into the game with you. Kevin Sheldrick, he's the 3-time state champion chess player.
Checkmate.
You got me. Thank you.
So, Kevin, what do you think?
Well, it was fast and it was fun because there are a lot more good moves that you can make.
You've been playing chess for 25 years, right? So how much faster is it?
Well, a normal tournament game can go for about 4 or 5 hours, and this can take 10 minutes, so it's a lot quicker.
When looking at the world through the eyes of a child, magic happens, and a 1,500-year-old game is reimagined.
Peter Friedman of Rode Microphones was impressed by this affordable, modular smart home system.
What they've done with this is genius. Able to install light switches, dimmers, hallway lights that turn on as you walk past, iPhone chargers, all that kind of thing, without having to go to tens of thousands of dollars for a full smart home.
I remember thinking to myself, what is this thing? All I really want to do is make a phone call, and yet now they are such an integral part of our lives. The next revolution is turning our homes into smart homes.
It's essentially your home connected to your phone. So in the mornings you get up, the sun's rising, you open your curtains, sun goes down, you close your curtains. So if you ever think about our parents, Brendan, back in their day, they'd have to get up off the couch, change the channel on the TV. Well, now we have remotes, and that's just a normal part of life, What we're talking about is the same thing. Now you can come to your phone, just set it up, so tell it, I want the curtains open, sunrise, close at sunset, all controlled from your phone. Let me show you how quick it is to turn a dumb switch into a smart switch. So behind here, that's what you have in your hand right here. What you need to do is you need to get the electrician to pop that out, like so, yeah. And put the smart switch in. Inside of there, it's a Bluetooth chip, and that's what provides the connectivity to your phone.
Right, so the electrician comes in, pops this into the
Just like that.
plate,
Yep.
and wires it up to your house.
Yep, that goes back into there.
Yep.
The cover goes back on, and then you're ready to turn the lights on from your phone.
So once you've got the platform and the system in your house, you can really personalize with new functionality like a night light or you can personalize the icon of your button because you're always confused which switch is doing what.
So the really clever bit is that you've actually incorporated the switches in the actual base plate itself. And then to switch it over, it's a matter of just clipping that on. And
as a consumer, you can do it safely. It's plug and play.
This is a really good integration of both hardware and software with the end user in mind. Really, really good design is invisible. And I can see this innovation blending seamlessly into our lives.
Our team of design industry leaders are judging Australia's top design innovations for the year. Leading the judging is Dr. Brandon Guillen from the Good Design Awards and Terry Winter from Top 3 by Design.
I think Australians lead the way in producing design that's really original, it's really authentic, and it's really addressing real issues. We're more than a pretty box and pretty packaging. I think we're addressing true problems and creating real solutions.
Form Design's Edward Curry admired this next innovation's simple yet clever adaptation of an old idea.
The flip reel, let me tell you, is a very, very nice product. It is the epitome of industrial design taken on a product and made into something special.
Recreational fishing in Australia is huge. Our next innovation, the flip reel, is a complete reinvention of the old hand line and a brilliant example of what good design can bring to an otherwise forgotten product.
The whole idea behind the flip reel brand is put everything you need in one hand. And it came really from growing up in a tiny town in South Australia and fishing on the weekends for fun. And I thought, we need to actually redesign this product. It's so old, no one's ever done anything to it. And the flip reel was born. It's all about giving kids and whoever wants to go fishing everything they need in one hand. As you can see, it starts at half of its size, but when you're ready to use it, you can just flip it open. You can completely get access to the hook and the tackle. If you want to cut the line, we actually have a built-in line cutter. I mean, we've even gone to the trouble of creating tackle boxes which sit inside the product, and everything you could possibly want is right there. There is a picture of the end user. That smile is effectively our brief. If we can then take that essence, we can begin to visualise concepts, visualise ideas, and actually visualising the design that we want to bring to market. So the whole point of a prototype is to test it, put it into people's hands, see what they think. And here is a flip reel, which has been mass manufactured, and it reflects all of the discoveries and learnings through the design process and turns into the product that's going to ultimately be in market.
That old saying, build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door, pretty much sums up what I love about the flip reel. It's such a good example of design thinking applied to an everyday product that will no doubt bring joy to millions of people around the world.
Sam Lanyon of Planet Innovation commended an iconic South Australian company on their game-changing innovation.
So Sealy International really knows the air conditioning market, and with the Climate Wizard, they've addressed one of the significant pain points of air conditioning in a commercial environment, and that's the cost. Frank is passionate as well as inventive, and he's going to revolutionise the market with his product. It's brilliant.
The man behind all of this has a very simple philosophy. You stick to one thing until you get there, like a postage stamp. There's absolutely no denying that Frank Sealy is a true innovator and is taking innovation to a whole new level. Frank, isn't this a little beauty? This is really where it all started.
Somebody said the greatest truths are the simplest and so are the greatest men. I say so are the greatest products. They're all simple. They're elegantly simple.
And what we've got behind us here is a much bigger project.
This is going to make huge waves in the air conditioning market.
And I see you just want to hug it. I kind of want to hug it
that's
too.
it. Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, you're very privileged to come up here today. This is the Imagineering Workshop. Imagineering team members only, it says. But I think we're going to be able to get you in. I think it'll be all right this time.
What goes on in the Imagineering department?
This is where we do all of the over-horizon stuff. What's being done here is 4 generations ahead of where we are, so that we stay ahead of the game. And these people are doing stuff which, if I explained it to you, I'm afraid I'd have to kill you. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail.
Well, please don't kill me. Looking around, it almost feels like we're in a factory in China.
Well, I've been to factories in China and none that I've been into are as sophisticated as this. Contrary to people's thinking, automation does not cost jobs. It actually expands your workforce. So it's growing and growing and growing.
I've just measured that. That's refrigerated air coming out at 17 degrees, whereas the Climate Wizard is coming out at 18.5 degrees. That one has no compressor, therefore the running costs are roughly 70% less.
So Frank, we've just seen Climate Wizard in action in the kitchen, and that is a fast-paced and hot environment. And now we're out here and it's so cool and natural.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
It makes people feel far more comfortable. It costs them far less to run. It is green. It is everything that you would want it to be. It's almost that perfect dream.
Partnering with the Good Design Awards, our team of design industry leaders are judging the best design innovations in Australia for the year.
In this room is a really interesting mix of people who represent industrial designers, mechanical engineers, architects, software experts. I think they each bring their own level of expertise to assess the incredibly complex range of projects that are submitted to the program.
Quilting is obviously not my thing, but I have a friend who's really into it, and that's why I know about this product being something special. Normally when seams are put together, they're sort of having to pick them apart if they want to get it out with those little tools. This device has been designed by somebody who knows what they're doing. Clamp it to a bench and you can just hold with two hands, come right through it, speeding it up. I mean, this is very, very clever.
If you're a dressmaker, quilter, or even making soft toys, you are a crafter, and you are not alone. There are over 2 million of you in Australia and growing. If you are a crafter, you need to keep an eye out for this little innovation. She has the craft community buzzing.
This is the quilt I was making for our son's wedding. I'd mucked up the pattern. I had 2 days of unpicking, which is using one of these to actually unpick all the seams. Everybody hates unpicking. The first one that my husband made was really, really ugly, but it got me out of trouble. Then we went on to fine form designs with Edward and Sharon, and they came up with this beautiful little bird-like concept.
So show me how she works.
Take your pieces and just rip them apart.
Oh, look at that.
Because you can see the light highlights the stitches, and you just unstitch like that. Simple, easy, friendly, nice to do. The hem ripper was an afterthought. It just rips really, really easily. Any hems or seams.
So amazingly simple. It's incredible that no one's done this before. So how has Quick Pick changed things for you?
Well, I get really frustrated, so I start ripping it. And then I rip the fabric. And so I found that when I use this, I don't do that.
Let's put this to the test. We have you with the traditional picker, and we have you with the Quick Pick. 3, 2, 1, rip. Quick, 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 quick.
No. You see that?
Oh!
Wait.
You're cheating, you're cheating.
Here, you can help.
All jokes aside, what I love about this story is that Elise saw a specific problem within a specific community. She went to a designer and together they came up with a solution, and they nailed it.
Australia is a huge country and healthcare is very, very challenging in remote locations. What the Vision Flex does is it actually gets a patient to come together with their specialists without them having to meet face to face. What a brilliant solution.
This is the Vision Flex Pro EX. With its hard case and battery pack, you can be anywhere, even outside. With a range of attachments, including a stethoscope and a digital camera, this is an all-in-one telehealth hub, giving you live access to the best specialists anywhere in the world.
It's a product which is really designed to connect people in remote communities to base hospitals and specialists. A lot of remote communities have been very isolated, and now they can go to their local hospital or the visiting nurse can examine them. And it's designed to connect to accessories such as digital stethoscopes, camera systems, ultrasound probes. All that information is collated under the patient database and then transmitted back to the specialist. The range of applications is huge. You know, we're looking at aged care facilities, prison system, detention centres, and we've even delivered systems to Alaska.
This is the camera that attaches to the main unit, and the brief for this particular camera was to be one-handed use that can be held in the right hand or the left hand, but also to take an image without having to experience a whole lot of hand wobble. One little trick is when you take the photo, it's actually taken when you release the button to avoid the stammer and movement of somebody's hand. This is a Cad model of the camera. Could you explode that for me, please, Lisa? One of the biggest problems we found was the temperature of the actual camera module was very high. Now, that's not a good thing when you're putting it close to somebody's mouth or close to their skin. The way we did that was to use this part, which is a heat sink. It's effectively a lump of metal that will draw the heat away from the camera and lower the temperature that's being used.
As the name, Vision and Flex together makes Vision Flex, and it is flexible. In something like this hearing van, which travels to small communities and takes care of people. For example, with the wireless glasses, this allows the practitioner or healthcare giver to have both hands free and to look directly at the patient and be teleconnected to that specialist at the far end. And that's a wonderful thing, to have both hands free and have that connection at the same time.
We tend to think of design and innovation in a very urban context. It's truly heartwarming to see innovation giving access to rural areas and really changing lives.
Our select group of design industry leaders are judging some of the best design innovations in Australia for the year.
Design thinking is something that lives through an entire experience, and I think what's extremely impactful about this school is the fact that it goes right from the heart of the student to the entire environment. Collaboration is almost the best thing we could ever teach any child, and this building celebrates it. If you can give your kids this type of start in the world, what an amazing person you'll create.
First impressions, this doesn't strike me as a school. It's more like a resort with its grand reception and the blurring of lines between indoor and outdoor. This is Project Barcelona.
It was a fanciful thought sitting in Barcelona airport for a number of hours one day when I looked at the giant canopy there that worked so well acoustically, and I thought, what would happen if you brought an entire school under a canopy? Everything happens here because I believe very strongly that learning happens best in relationship, and the intention of this space is designed to then allow an 18-year-old, a 5-year-old, the whole community to come together.
This canopy generates two forms of energy, electricity and water. So the solid parts of the canopy are actually photovoltaic cells using the sun to generate the power for the school. And we collect the water off the roof to irrigate the landscape.
That wasn't just about saving money.
No, it's about the building being a learning device for the students.
A lot of people that look at this space would say it doesn't look like your typical school, and that was in fact part of the brief. You see the booth here where students can come in and they can have private sort of study time. Then you have these sort of booths here where students can go, close the space off and have some quiet time, as well as you see up here a teacher and one of the students having some private tutoring time rather than having to go off somewhere special. They're part of the whole space. It's quite democratic.
I love the fact that we have a window into the world, and as we walk past, it's constantly there. It reminds us that we're part of a larger world. The technology is designed to be like the air, to support our thinking, to support our learning, and whether it's the large screen, whether it's a laptop screen, whether it's a mobile device, it's about everything together.
This is more than just great architecture. Everything you touch, everything you experience is there to enhance learning. This is an outstanding example of holistic design.
As an industrial designer, I can see where this product's going. The use of colour, styling, materials, the product installed in a home where somebody's disabled or elderly will fit in. It's a great product.
It's no secret Australians are ageing. We need new products and services to age in place. So this next project applied some design thinking.
We knew there's an ageing population, which is a bit of an opportunity for us, but there's not a product out there in the market that can suit their specific needs. With a capstan style handle, if you've got limited dexterity and limited use of your hand, the simple rotation is really difficult.
So why isn't this one right? I can move it with the back of my hand.
Well, this is a product specifically designed for hospitals. We want them to lose that stigma of being in an institution, so a more contemporary design was definitely considered.
So you can move really quickly from prototype to production.
Well, being a manufacturer, we do have that ability to allow our designs to evolve really fast. We can machine prototypes up really quickly, we can print the parts, we can build them, assemble them, get them out to market really quickly, and allow our users to actually give us that feedback to allow them to evolve naturally.
This is the tap. That's a lovely feel, and it's a very smooth action too.
Yeah, we put a lot of effort into that interface. The polymer is a warm feel, which is really important for sensitive skin.
And I saw that we can change the colours.
We offer blue for cold, but also red or yellow colour indication, mainly to suit the legislative drivers in each state. With New South Wales, warm water is typically yellow indication. Water is used every day of someone's life, and the fact that someone has to wait for someone to help them just use water or get access to water was a real driver for why we designed this product.
You've really tapped into something there. Who would have thought we could redesign the tap to work for even more people with even more different abilities? But by going back to basics and understanding our hands and our minds, that's exactly what these guys have done. So this is the really hard part. Which two will the jury choose to go through to the final top 10? From this episode, the judges have chosen Chess Plus and the Flip Reel. Next episode, more design innovations as we head for the final countdown of the top 10 innovations in Australia for the year. For more information, go to australiabydesign.com.au.